There comes a moment in Why You No Love Me where you get it.
Yeah.
And it's not broken.
John Mayer has built a reputation as one of the most talented guitarists in modern pop rock music. The Grammy-winning musician from Connecticut became famous for songs that mixed blues, pop, and rock together in a way that topped the charts and won critical praise. However, Mayer has also become known for his strong opinions about other musicians and bands in the industry. Throughout his career, Mayer has never been shy about sharing his thoughts on what he considers good or bad music. He has often spoken about the difference between music that challenges listeners and music that he believes talks down to them. According to various reports and interviews, Mayer has had issues with several major bands over the years. These conflicts weren't always public fights, but they revealed deeper disagreements about what makes music authentic and meaningful. The stories of these musical tensions show how different artists view success, creativity, and what it means to be a real musician in today's music world. Some of these disagreements played out in public, while others happened behind the scenes in recording studios and industry events. All of them help explain the ongoing debates about guitar-based music and artistic integrity. Nickelback, the McDonald's of rock music. One of the most talked-about conflicts involves the Canadian rock band Nickelback. This shouldn't surprise many people, since Nickelback has faced criticism from various musicians and music fans over the years. The band achieved massive commercial success in the early 2000s with hit songs that played constantly on radio stations across North America. According to industry reports, Mayer's problems with Nickelback started around 2001 when their song became a huge radio hit. This happened right as Mayer was beginning his own career and trying to establish himself as a serious musician. Music journalists report that Mayer compared Nickelback's approach to making rock music like McDonald's approach to making food, the same basic formula used over and over again, mass-produced for people who don't know any better. What bothered Mayer wasn't just Nickelback's music itself, but what he felt it represented for rock music as a whole. While Mayer spent time crafting songs with complex chord progressions and sophisticated musical arrangements, Nickelback was selling millions of albums with what critics often called simple, formulaic rock songs. Mayer reportedly felt that this kind of success sent the wrong message about what guitar music could and should be. Industry insiders claimed that Mayer often spoke about how some bands push the guitar forward as an instrument, while others drag it backward. Without naming specific bands, many people understood that he was referring to groups like Nickelback. The tension reportedly got worse at music industry parties, where Mayer would allegedly make his feelings known when people suggested he work with Nickelback's lead singer. Imagine Dragons, robots, pretending to have emotions. The conflict with Imagine Dragons represents a different kind of musical disagreement. This Las Vegas-based band became hugely successful in the 2010s with their electronic-influenced rock sound that filled arenas around the world. Their breakthrough song in 2012 marked what many considered a new direction for rock music, mixing traditional rock instruments with electronic production and programming. According to music industry reports, Mayer saw Imagine Dragons' success as representing everything wrong with modern rock music. He allegedly felt that they had taken the organic human elements out of rock music and replaced them with computer-generated sounds and programming. Music journalists reported that Mayer described their approach as like watching robots try to show emotions. What particularly frustrated Mayer was how Imagine Dragons approached songwriting. Throughout his career, Mayer had built his reputation on guitar skills and complex, thoughtful lyrics. In contrast, he felt that Imagine Dragons created simple, repetitive songs, designed mainly to work well in large stadiums and sports arenas. He reportedly believed that this represented a dumbing down of rock music for mass consumption. Industry sources claimed that Mayer often said that real bands shouldn't need laptop computers to write songs. This was clearly aimed at the electronic production methods that Imagine Dragons used to create their signature sound. The tension reportedly reached a point where Mayer would avoid appearing on the same television shows or events as the band. Despite Mayer's alleged criticism, Imagine Dragons never publicly responded to these reports. They continued to focus on their music and their large fan base around the world. However, the situation highlighted the growing divide between traditional rock musicians and newer artists who embraced electronic elements in their sound. Maroon 5, from rock band to pop sensation. The conflict with Maroon 5 represents perhaps the most personal disappointment on this list. Unlike the other bands, Maroon 5 started as a guitar-based rock band before gradually shifting toward mainstream pop music. This transformation reportedly upset Mayer more than the music of bands that had always been pop-oriented. In the early 2000s, both John Mayer and Maroon 5's Adam Levine were part of the same guitar-driven rock scene. They were both young musicians trying to make their mark with guitar-based songs and rock credibility. However, as Maroon 5 became more successful, they began moving away from their rock roots toward a more commercial pop sound that could reach larger audiences. According to music journalists, Mayer felt that Adam Levine had abandoned his musical talents in favor of whatever sound was most popular at the time. Mayer reportedly saw this as a betrayal of artistic principles, choosing commercial success over musical integrity. He allegedly felt that Levine had once shown real musical promise, but had given up that potential for mainstream fame. What made this situation worse, according to industry reports, was Adam Levine's public persona. While Mayer tried to maintain his identity as a serious musician even as he achieved commercial success, Levine seemed to embrace mainstream celebrity culture completely. His appearances on reality TV shows and collaborations with pop artists reportedly convinced Mayer that Levine cared more about fame than about music. The tension allegedly came to a head at charity events and industry gatherings, where Mayer would reportedly refuse to perform after Levine or avoid being associated with Maroon 5's performances. Interestingly, Levine seemed unaware of or unbothered by Mayer's feelings, often praising Mayer's guitar abilities in magazine interviews. Fall Out Boy, pretentious, pseudo-intellectualism. The conflict with Fall Out Boy revealed different tensions about how rock music should express emotions and ideas. This Chicago-based band became famous for their energetic pop-punk sound, combined with unusually literary and complex song titles and lyrics. They appealed to many of the same young adult audiences that Mayer was trying to reach, but their approach to music making was very different. According to music industry reports, Mayer felt that Fall Out Boy was trying too hard to seem intellectual and deep. He allegedly believed that the band's use of complex vocabulary and literary references in their lyrics was just a way to hide the fact that their music was actually shallow. Rather than creating genuinely meaningful songs, Mayer reportedly felt they were just showing off their education. This criticism was particularly pointed because both Fall Out Boy and Mayer appealed to audiences looking for emotional authenticity in music. However, Mayer felt that real emotional expression in music should be direct and honest, not dressed up in fancy language or complex literary references. He allegedly believed that genuine feelings didn't need a thesaurus to be understood. The tension reportedly got worse when Fall Out Boy members began speaking publicly about the importance of complex songwriting. Mayer allegedly saw this as a direct challenge to his own reputation as a sophisticated songwriter. Industry sources reported that he felt Fall Out Boy was trying to claim intellectual high ground that they hadn't actually earned through their music. The conflict allegedly reached its peak at music festivals where both acts were performing. Industry witnesses reported direct confrontations between band members, with harsh words exchanged about each other's approach to music. Even after Fall Out Boy took a break and then reunited years later, Mayer reportedly continued to view them as representing everything he disliked about pretentious rock music. Coldplay. Emotional manipulation disguised as art. The tension with Coldplay represents perhaps the most surprising conflict on this list. Coldplay, the British band led by Chris Martin, became hugely successful with their atmospheric rock sound and emotional ballads that filled stadiums around the world. On the surface, they seemed to have much in common with Mayer. Both were thoughtful singer-songwriters with strong guitar skills and emotional depth. However, according to industry reports, Mayer felt that Coldplay had figured out how to make depression and sadness sound beautiful in a way that felt calculated rather than genuine. He allegedly believed that their emotional approach to music was more about manipulation than authentic artistic expression. Rather than sharing genuine feelings, Mayer reportedly felt they were packaging their emotions for maximum commercial impact. What particularly frustrated Mayer was how easily Coldplay transitioned from being indie rock darlings to massive stadium superstars. While Mayer often struggled to balance his artistic credibility with commercial success, Coldplay seemed to achieve both without effort. Mayer reportedly felt that their success came from creating what he called manufactured vulnerability, emotional moments that were carefully designed for maximum impact rather than genuine expression. This conflict highlighted the ongoing debate in rock music about authenticity versus commercial appeal. Both artists dealt with themes of sadness, relationships, and personal struggles, but Mayer allegedly felt that Coldplay's approach was too polished and calculated. He reportedly distinguished between bands that genuinely share their pain and bands that package their pain to sell more records. The tension with Coldplay also revealed Mayer's own insecurities about his place in the music world. Despite his technical skills and critical acclaim, he sometimes struggled with how to present himself as both a serious artist and a commercially successful musician. Seeing Coldplay achieve massive success while maintaining critical respect reportedly frustrated him. Dave Matthews Band, the ultimate betrayal. At the top of the list of Mayer's alleged musical conflicts is the Dave Matthews Band. This Virginia-based group became famous for their improvisational live performances, complex musical arrangements, and devoted fan base that followed them from city to city, like the fans of the Grateful Dead. They represented everything that jam bands were supposed to be about: musical virtuosity, live performance skills, and artistic freedom. However, according to industry reports, Mayer felt that Dave Matthews Band represented the worst kind of musical pretension. He allegedly believed that their long, improvised musical sections were just self-indulgent showing off rather than genuine songwriting. Instead of creating structured, meaningful songs, Mayer reportedly felt they were just playing around with their instruments for extended periods without any real purpose. What made this conflict particularly bitter was how music critics and the industry treated both artists. While Mayer often faced dismissal as just a pop artist despite his technical skills, Dave Matthews Band received respect from serious music critics. Mayer reportedly felt this was unfair, believing that his songwriting and guitar abilities were superior to what Dave Matthews Band was doing. The competition between the two acts was intensified by the fact that they were both trying to appeal to guitar-savvy audiences who appreciated musical skill and live performance ability. Industry sources reported that Mayer became somewhat obsessed with proving that his approach to music was better than Dave Matthews Band's approach. He allegedly felt that his songs were more structured and meaningful than their extended improvisational pieces. This conflict represented broader tensions in the guitar-based music world between different approaches to musicianship. Mayer favored carefully crafted songs with clear structures and meanings, while Dave Matthews Band represented the jam band tradition of extended improvisation and musical exploration. The disagreement highlighted different philosophies about what made music valuable and meaningful. The bigger picture. These reported conflicts reveal important tensions in the modern music industry about authenticity, commercial success, and artistic integrity. John Mayer's alleged problems with these six bands weren't just personal disputes. They represented broader debates about what rock music should be and how musicians should approach their art. Throughout these conflicts, several common themes emerge. Mayer reportedly valued technical musical skill, thoughtful songwriting, and what he saw as genuine emotional expression. He allegedly had problems with artists who he felt were either too commercial, too pretentious, or too willing to sacrifice artistic quality for popular success. These tensions also reflect the challenges facing guitar-based rock music in an era dominated by electronic production, streaming services, and rapidly changing musical trends. Traditional rock musicians like Mayer have had to figure out how to maintain their artistic principles while staying relevant in a changing musical landscape. The conflicts also highlight questions about who gets to decide what makes music valuable or authentic. Mayer's reported criticisms often focused on whether other artists were being genuine or just following commercial formulas. However, all of these bands found large audiences who connected with their music, suggesting that different people value different things in their musical experiences. Conclusion. Whether these reported conflicts were as serious as industry sources suggested, they reveal the passionate debates that continue to shape rock music. John Mayer's alleged feuds with these six bands highlight the ongoing tensions between commercial success and artistic credibility, between traditional musicianship and modern production techniques, and between different approaches to emotional expression in music. These stories also show how competitive the music industry can be, especially among artists who are trying to establish themselves as serious musicians. The pressure to stand out in a crowded field can lead to conflicts and rivalries that might seem petty from the outside but feel very important to the artists involved. Ultimately, these reported feuds illustrate the complexity of the modern music world, where artists must balance their artistic vision with commercial realities, critical respect with popular appeal, and personal authenticity with professional success. The debates they represent continue to shape how we think about rock music and what we value in our musical experiences.